Today we're looking at section 5.3, which is areas of circles. And it's on page 187 in the intermediate math textbook. I'm gonna try and talk louder so I can make sure you can hear me in the video. Okay, first off, there's not a whole lot to cover in this section. They really want to make sure that you understand just the formula itself and how to use it. It's very similar to the formula for circumference of a circle. Remember that now we're talking about the space inside the circle, not just the distance around the edge. And so the formula that we're going to need says that the area is equal to pi r squared. All right. Now on the circle, they cannot give us very many measurements. Okay, either they're going to measure the outside edge or they're measuring the distance from the center to the edge, which is our radius. Okay, they might give you a diameter, which would go all the way through the center, but you only need the radius because that's what the r is. So we already know that pi is our 3.14 or 22/7, and the r is the radius. So you need the radius. If they give you a diameter, we remember that the radius is half of the diameter. So if they try to be extra fancy and give you the diameter, just divide it by 2, and now you have a radius. Okay? You would then plug that value in. If you remember, our exponent there means you're multiplying that value times itself, okay? 2 times. So we would just take our radius times itself and then multiply that by 3.14. Now, usually we're using the decimal 3.14, but if there are fractions already in like the radius, then it's going to be easier to use the 22/7. All right, let's take a look at an example. This is on that same page on the bottom. All right, example 5.3, letter A. They have a circle there with a radius labeled as 6 inches. And we're just told to find the area. Again, if they give you the radius, that's all you need because the formula already contains the other numbers, which is pi. So we're going to take A is equal to 3.14 times our radius, which is 6, and then it's squared. Now, if you recall, when we did our order of operations, the please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, or you may have called it PEMDAS, we know that we're supposed to do the exponent before you multiply. So we're going to do 6 times 6, which is 36. And now we'll go ahead and multiply it. Of course, writing it across is not as easy to calculate, so feel free to rewrite it. 6 times 4, 6 times 1 plus 2, 6 times 3, and then I'll bring my 0. Now work on 3. 3 times 4, make that a 1. 3 times 1 plus 1, and 3 times 3. Add those together. All right, don't forget to put the decimal back in. There are only 2 places behind the decimal here, so 1, 2. All right, so our answer 113 0.04. And if you notice in the book, it's kind of subtle thing, but I think I'll mention it. You'll notice the answer when they wrote it, they put some little wavy equal signs, okay? They're not the typical straight equal sign. The reason they're using the wavy equal sign is because 3.14 we know is not the full value of pi. It's just been rounded to 3.14. So technically those should be wavy also. Anytime you're using a rounded value for pi, we're going to show that we have a rounded answer, okay? The second example, letter B. Same thing. It's just instead of giving us a radius, they've given us a diameter. So the circle, like I said, they gave us the diameter, goes all the way across with 16 inches. And we're told again to find the area of the circle. So we know it's going to be pi times r squared. We're using 3.14. Only problem is they gave us a diameter instead of a radius. So I know it's going to be 16 divided by 2, which is going to be 8. So I'm going to put 8 for the radius and square it. It's raining outside, so you may hear some rain in the background. Hopefully it doesn't get too noisy. Now we're going to square 8, which means 8 times 8, which is 64. And now we'll multiply these two values together. Again, I'm going to write it kind of vertically so I can see it a little more easily. So I've got 4 times 4, 4 times 4 plus 1, 4 times 3, oops. And then carry my 0. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 1 plus 2, and then 6 times 3. And then 2 decimal places once again, because 1, 2 here, 1, 2 right there. So our answer is 200.96. Oop, I didn't put the unit. Because it's area, same thing like we did in the last section. Anytime there's an area, we need to show that it's a square unit. So it was inches, so our answer is inches squared. And you can use the little 2 exponent or use the SQ abbreviation, either way. All right, so that is area of circles. We'll talk more in class.